We're going to go ahead and take a look at another example for solving rational equations. And before we do that, we need to factor our equation down. So basically factor our denominators. And so for this first denominator, we can pull out a GCF of 2, which would leave us x minus 1 for the other factor. The second rational expression, the denominator is x plus 1, so that's not going to factor anymore. The third rational expression, we can pull out a GCF of 2, which would, if we divide that out, would leave us x plus 1. And so we are now in like a factored form, which allows us to determine what is the LCD. So the way I would go about determining what the LCD is I'd look at each denominator at a time. So for this first denominator, it says that we need a 2, a factor of 2, and we also need a factor of x minus 1. So go ahead and list those. For the second rational expression, it says we need a factor of x plus 1, which we don't have yet, so we have to include that. And then for the third rational expression, it says we need a 2, which we already have, and an x plus 1, which we already have. And so that completes what our LCD would be. So then in our next step, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply each rational expression by that LCD. So my LCD is 2 times x minus 1 times x plus 1, and then we're going to go ahead and multiply that by the 6 times the 2 times x minus 1. And then we have this minus sign, include the minus sign, but then do your LCD again and multiply it by your second rational expression. And the second rational expression is the 1 over x plus 1. And then we have this equal sign, include the equal sign, and then multiply your LCD by your third rational expression, which would give us the 2 over 2 times x plus 1. And then last, we need to add in our LCD being multiplied by the last expression. Even though it's not rational, it still needs to be multiplied by the LCD, so don't forget to do that and times that 1. And then all you need to do from there is, and so this is kind of a step 3 now, kind of mixed in, is cancel any common factors that you may have from top to bottom, so from numerator to denominator. Make sure you cancel the entire factor. And then what's remaining, you're going to just go ahead and simplify. So 6 times x plus 1 is 6x plus 6. Negative 2 times x minus 1 is negative 2x plus 2, so don't forget to distribute that negative, equals 2 times x minus 1 is 2x minus 2. And then, sorry, I didn't mean to write that sign. We're going to have plus 2 times whatever x minus 1 times x plus 1 is, but if you FOIL that, you would get x squared plus 1x minus 1x, so those will cancel, minus 1. So you get that difference of squares. Then go ahead and combine like terms. So you get 4x plus 8 equals 2x minus 2, and then I have to distribute this 2 plus 2x squared minus 2, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull everything to one side of the equation. And the way I'll do that is by subtracting off 4x and subtracting off 8. So subtracting off 4x and subtracting off 8. But then on the right hand side, I just have the 2x squared, and then the 2x minus 4x is minus 2x. And then the negative 2, negative 8, and negative 2 make a negative 12. And then all I need to do from there is factor out the GCF and factor down my quadratic. So that leaves me x squared minus x minus 6. And that quadratic is factorable. What two numbers multiply together to give you negative 6, but add to give you negative 1? And the answer is negative 3 and positive 2. And then if we want to solve this for x, we need to set each of those factors equal to 0 and solve. So 2 set equal to 0 is not going to give us a solution, but x minus 3 set equal to 0 does, and so does x plus 2 set equal to 0. So solve each of those for x. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides, and I get x is a positive 3. Subtract 2 from both sides, I get x is a negative 2. So my solutions at the end of the day appear to be 3 and negative 2. And if I were to plug these back into my original equation, neither make my denominator 0, and they actually check out. So my solutions are 3 and negative 2.